Today, I'm going to be going over some of my UFC hot takes, which, in my opinion, shouldn't be hot takes. They should just be the generally accepted opinions. But if you agree, if you disagree with any of these, let me know in the comments. I'll make sure to respond. But without further ado, the first hot take I got is Nina drama is awful for the UFC. You could either look at this and be like, how's this even a hot take? I think everyone agrees with that. Or you could be on the flip side where, like most people on Instagram, where it's, what do you mean, bro? She's actually funny. Um, let's just get the obvious fact out of the way. Nina's just using the UFC as a vessel to grow her own popularity and her own page. She doesn't care about the UFC. Sure, she comments on the fighters. She has funny conversations, but dude, if you literally look at any of the stuff she posts, any of the pictures, you know she's not there for the fighters or to promote the UFC. She's there for herself. And the UFC's given her a vessel for whatever reason to do so. On top of that, she's extremely corny 9 times out of 10. I know some people say her interviews are funny. I beg to differ. And then she like spars with these dudes. Like, dude, it's so weird. And it's so corny too, dude. It's like it's such a forced thing. And then you have people saying, whoa, what do you mean she's actually funny? Like, first of all, she's not going to let you hit, brother. Second of all, she's not funny. Like I said, it's just corny. It's an obvious ploy just to draw more attention to herself. It's such a cheesy thing, dude. I don't think a single man over the age of 18 likes Nina drama. And if you do, man, you probably got a few other problems you should worry about. My next hot take is Hamzat Chimaev is overrated. So some of the people are going to look at this and their heads are going to explode. But first of all, let's look at what I mean by overrated. Did I say Hamzat Chimaev is bad? No. He's probably one of the best middleweights in the world. He is one of the best middleweights in the world. By overrated, I'm saying that people aren't justified in their belief that Hamzat's going to submit DDP in round one. I know a lot of UFC fans have the memory of a goldfish, but if you remember after the Usman fight or even after the Burns fight, people were literally saying Hamzat's cardio sucks. Hamzat can't deal with the top competition. This, that, and the third. But after he had an interesting performance against Whitaker, now everyone's back on the train saying Hamzat round one, Hamzat round one. Let's actually look at the performances. He literally got the same position on Whitaker that he got on Kamaru. Only difference is Whitaker already had a compromised jaw going into the fight, so it snapped. Which still credit to Hamza. The takedowns are insane. His takedown ability probably the best in the whole UFC. He's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but Whitaker was doing a good job defending those chokes. You know, it wasn't even in. It was on his chin. And yep, like I said, it's already compromised, and he got the finish against Usman. Usman survived the first round. Second round, close. I think Usman won it. Third round, Usman won. That's Usman coming off the couch, short notice, fighting up a weight class, and he almost arguably won 2 rounds to 1 against Hamzat. So I don't really get people saying that he's gonna walk through Dricus. I don't even think that's in the realm of possibilities. And not to mention, if Dricus does get out of that first round, with every single passing round, Hamzat's chances drop dramatically. You know, if Dricus gets Hamzat to the third round, it's over for Hamzat, dude. Hamzat's cardio is buns. Like, whether you like it or not, the only way for him to be dangerous in that first round, or as dangerous as he is, typically, is to blow his load. Pause. In that first round. And if he doesn't do that, his threat level's way down. You know, you saw Gilbert Burns drop him. Kamaru Usman was piecing him up. Dricus is a better striker than both of those guys. And his defensive wrestling, it's probably not as good as Kamaru's. I'd say it's like similar to Rob's. He has similar defensive wrestling abilities to Rob. At least current Rob, but his submission defense is very good, and he's way stronger than Rob. And like I said, once he gets out of that first round, Hamzat might as well just kiss that title goodbye because he's not beating Dricus, who has one of the best gas tanks in a 5-round fight, unless he finishes him in the first round, which would require him to blow his load, pause, in that first round, like I said. So, you know, I think people are highly overestimating Hamzat. People go back and forth on him. If he has a bad performance, they'll say, I don't know, he might not be ready yet. But then he'll have a pretty good performance, first round submission. All of a sudden, people are back on the hype train. You just got to look at these things in their totality and not just with tunnel vision. Next, I think John Jones mauls Tom Aspinall. Now, am I saying Aspinall doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell? No, he definitely has a chance. Everyone has a puncher's chance. But if you look at who John Jones is training with, I think you'll start to really understand how good his ground game is. He's training with Gable Steveson, the best college wrestler right now, former champ, and Gordon Ryan, the best jiu-jitsu practitioner on the planet. His ground game is going to be levels ahead Tom Aspinall's. I know Tom, he did jiu-jitsu when he was younger, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be comparable on the ground. On the feet, yeah, I'll give it to Tom. He's faster. Is he a better technical striker? Probably not. He leaves his chin up, but he has a hell of a chin, so he can afford to do so. And he has some good pop in his shots. But on the ground, John Jones would maul Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's only actual loss, he has a knee injury to Curtis Blades and a DQ, but his only actual loss, that third loss, is via submission, heel hook. And if some guy in the regional scene's tapping you out, what do you think John Jones is going to do to you? He's going to twist you into an Annie Ann's pretzel, brother. Grappling too is like the one thing I feel like you can still compete in when you're older, like jiu-jitsu. Striking, not as much. Like strikers really fall off when they get older, but grapplers, you can last for a while as a grappler. And especially in the heavyweight division. John's still 37. He might be 38 here soon. I think he takes down Aspinall and mauls him. And he's just let's just call it what it is. John Jones has one of the highest fight IQs in the UFC, if not the highest. Um, not to mention he took down Stipe like nothing. He was just butter. A beautiful, beautiful trip that he hit Stipe with, and then he mauled him on the floor, in which I think he could have finished Stipe there. For whatever reason, he let him up, and he continued putting a clinic on Stipe. But yeah, John Jones mauls Tom Aspinall. Next, I think Jose Aldo's overrated. Um, Again, like I said with Hamza, does that mean I think he's bad? Absolutely not. He's either the third or fourth best featherweight of all time. But how are people going to say he's the GOAT featherweight? Or even some people say he's like top three of all time when he lost in his prime a numerous amount of times. He lost to Conor when he was like 27, 29. Max Holloway in his early 30s twice. Volk in his early 30s. Those are all prime years for fighters, and Jose Aldo lost four times. And now he's still fighting, and he lost to Mario Bautista. I hate Mario Bautista as much as the next guy, but the fact that you're losing to him is a pretty bad look, especially if you're a top three fighter of all time. When Mario Bautista's whole game plan is just smudge you on the fence. I just think people really overestimate him because a lot of them went around to watch his reign. Myself included, I'm not gonna lie. He was fighting before I was even conceived, so probably in like what the 1900s, early 2000s, he started his fighting career. Yeah, he has very good tools. His anti-wrestling might be some of the best of all time. He defended all of Merab's takedowns, Batista's. He's no slouch. I'm not saying he's bad at all, but what I am saying is he's overrated. He's not as good as people are saying. His legacy's not as good. As some may say, I just can't see a world where you can lose that many times in your prime and be considered top three of all time. So, yeah, I think Jose Aldo's a little overrated. Next, I feel like this one should be obvious, dude. Like, Conor McGregor is still the biggest draw in the UFC by far. Conor McGregor could fight against Guram Kutateladze, and he would sell more pay-per-views than Jones versus Aspinall. That's just the fact of the matter. People think like, Conor hasn't fought in a while, he's washed, which he is washed. They think he wouldn't be able to sell coleslaw to a white guy. Whether you like it or not, Conor's still the biggest star in the sport and probably forever will be. I don't see anyone surpassing him anytime soon. They're saying Makhachev just hit 10 mil on Insta. Hey, that's cool. That's cool and all, brother. Congratulations. But Islam, 10 million. Conor, 40 million. So there's levels to this. And my last hot take, I think prime Michael Chandler could be Islam Makhachev. This is probably the hottest take I have in the video. Prime Michael Chandler is an absolute nightmare matchup for Islam Makhachev. He has A1 wrestling, he's extremely powerful, and he has knockout power. Prime Michael Chandler I'm talking about, not Michael Chandler right now. And he had an amazing chin, plus amazing submission defense. It's literally going to look like the Volk fight, except a better version of Volk. Oh, that kind of sounds wrong. He's going to, like, Volk would fight, but if Volk had more power, like as far as the stylistic matchup goes. I think he'd be able to catch Islam on the chin, catch him clean. We saw Dustin tagging up Islam. We saw Renato Moicano drop Islam. If Renato Moicano's dropping Islam, what do you think Mike Chandler's going to do? Obviously, I'm lying about Moicano dropping Islam. That was a slip or whatever. But, I mean, like, Volk did drop Islam. And Volk, his striking's way better than Michael Chandler's, but his power, not nearly as good. Michael Chandler's got some power in his fist, and he's just a straight dog. So I don't see how Islam would beat him. He's taking him down is going to be a tough task. Michael will get right back up. Mike's going to be stronger. His conditioning's like average, so if Makachev gets in the fourth and fifth, his chances would definitely go up. But I think those first 3 rounds, Michael Chandler would have an extremely high chance of finishing Islam Makhachev, given the fact that he has fight IQ too. So I guess it could be seen as a stretch, but I'm saying like prime Michael Chandler with actual fight IQ, not just trying to entertain the fans, with actual fight IQ. He would beat Islam. I don't think it's a horrendous take to make at all. I think it's a very fair assessment of both of their skill sets and styles. And if you disagree, I'd love to hear why, because I couldn't agree more. Obviously, because it's my own take, but those are all my hot takes for today. If you agree or disagree with any of them, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to respond to all of them. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you soon.